Hey, hey, everybody, how you doing? Savage AF it is. This is a Dro Solo edition. I'm your boy Black Pedro. Comedian Shang, as announced yesterday, will not be here. So if you don't like me, fuck off. The hell up out of here. This is a Dro Solo edition. You know what it is, guys. Savage AF. We, sometimes just me, sometimes just Shang, sometimes whatever, but the entity, the show, the essence, the movement, Savage AF is typically here for you Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Forget your feelings. Facts matter. That's our motto. You can catch us live on YouTube and Facebook Monday through Friday, again, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you ever miss us live, you dumb. You're a fucking idiot, man. But you can redeem yourself. You can educate. We are on the YouTube channel. If you go there and subscribe, you see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen right now, youtube.com/C/SavageAF World. When you get to that portal to a whole nother mind state, do this. It's really not that hard. Okay. Make the noises too. It's more fun. When you do that, it's feels like you're in a video game. Oh, Nicole, you don't like me? You don't like? Okay. Okay. That's what the wine's for. I work through this by my damn self. Also, make sure you follow us on Facebook, guys. If you don't know the routine, man, I know you're lying, Nix. I know you're lying, girl. I appreciate you. And shout out to Kevin Keith for being here as well. Damani Jones, Queen B. Let's go. This is going to be a quickie wiki today. You know, when I'm by myself, I really don't like to ramble on aimlessly, but I try and keep up with you guys in the comment section as well. But make sure you follow us on the Facebook Meta World Peace Place, whatever they call it now. Savage A.F. It's 2 dots. Hit them with the 2 dots. A.F. Savage A.F. On Facebook. And even if you're already following us on YouTube or whatever, follow us everywhere. Okay, follow me on Instagram. You see it in the corner here at Black Pedro. Shout out to the big homie, my normal co-host, who's usually in this bitch with us, but he as he said yesterday, he wasn't gonna be here. But make sure you're following Comedian Shang, Shang, Comedian Shang. That's on the IG, y'all. If you don't have time to say Instagram, just say IG. That's where we are, man. So make sure you get at us there. You know, comedians wither away daily due to a lack of following. I'm one of them. But you know, I'm sure y'all can change that. Make sure y'all hit them with this too. Yeah, man. That smooth thumbs up. Hit the likes, hit the like buttons on the things that we do. You know what it is. All right, Savage AF, man. Oh, by the way, if you are no other Miranda, I'm sorry, what up though? AJ Fit. Tidings unto ye, sir. Thank y'all for being here. Much appreciated. Cheers to anybody who's doing it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Yeah, not here. Like Chicago. But anyways, Savage AF, you know what it is, man. It is Wednesday, hump day. Hump on something if you can, with consent. November 2nd, 2022, in the time-space continuum. All right, as we step into another one, you know what it is. Fuck your feelings, facts matter. We're 5 minutes in now, so I can curse. There's no weed today, Pedro. It's just you, man. All right, Savage AF, man. Fuck your feelings, facts matter. Black Pedro here, holding it down. This is a Dro solo edition. You know how we do. All right, man. Won't be any Shangri today, obviously. No need to do a pop in. It's just me. I did that at the top of the show. If you missed it, go get it. But mainly what I want to talk about is somebody that I believe that has really, really stepped out because, there are just so many, I think, candidates for this category. And, there's so many candidates out there. Kanye West, Kundis Owens, any black Republican, basically, like Tim Scott, trying hard, man, doing that dance, gumshoeing it, spoons, you know what I mean, tapping, and tap dancing is an extreme talent, but who you do it for and how you do it, that's what we gonna judge you on right here. Yeah, man. So a lot of candidates could go for what ironically turns out to be the same term for the winner, SCOTUS. But instead of Supreme Court of the United States, I think Supreme Coon of the United States has come out to be Clarence Thomas. This is just my opinion. I don't have facts or charts to prove he's out-cooned everybody, absolutely. But what we are finding out is that through email communications, Trumpty Dumpty lawyers strategized around Uncle Coon, Clarence Coon Thomas, and saw him as the key. The headline from Politico, and just look at that. Look at that. Look at that face. It's got Yes Amasa written all over it. Facebook user, I see you. What's going on? Trump lawyers saw Justice Thomas as only chance to stop 2020 election certification. This is in quotes. We want to frame things so that Thomas could be the one to issue some sort of stay or other circuit justice opinion saying Georgia is in legitimate doubt. And that's from an email communication written by Kenneth Chesebro, who was a Trump Dumpty lawyer at the time. I think, there is this, and I didn't realize this, but I heard mentioned that Clarence Thomas oversees direct action in Georgia. So I didn't realize that potentially Supreme Court justices have regional obligations, as I can understand it. But it sounded like Georgia fell under his jurisdiction, but it also sounds like the one black man who is Supreme Court justice who replaced the first black man, Thurgood Marshall, and just is just a slap in the face of a pick. He's the Herschel Walker of the Supreme Court, just with less concussions probably. But Clarence Thomas also has a wife who allegedly financed buses for potential rioters who arrived at January 6th. So shipping people from other states to DC for January 6th. And we saw how that worked out. And we also have communications of his wife, Jenny Thomas. Yeah. Oh, Kevin Keith says 11th Circuit. Is that the circuit that maybe Clarence Thomas oversees? Thank you. Again, no legal degree here, guys. Just the smart ass mouth comedian. But yeah, his wife is she. There's communications with her and upper level White House officials as she's pushing the election lie. So it's interesting that beyond his 11th Circuit judiciary obligations, that he might actually have these inside connections to, or that they see him as a functioning part of this mechanism to overthrow the election from 2020, which, by the way, was free and fair and completely legitimate. Absolutely, absolutely believe that here. Liberal Democrat, YouTube don't flag us for no dumb shit. For those who don't know, we were in jail in YouTube jail for like 10 days or some shit. So this is like our third show back. Drill Solo edition, y'all. Thanks for being here again. I'm sipping Bordeaux. But when we no matter how we use the term coon, and I'd say use it cautiously. I try not to call it every Tom, Dick, and Harry a coon, but this Thomas, Clarence Thomas, that is. I do not only call one, but I'm calling him the supreme coon of the United States, because he is in a supremely powerful position. And I believe that ultimately, he was put there for these kinds of things, right? We can say Raccoon Thomas. Okay, we'll keep it like that. We'll keep it in the animal kingdom, and maybe it'll slip through the filters. But Raccoon Thomas, he's the supreme raccoon of the United States. He, I think he's been propped up to be in a position like this, for decades now, where he would sort of always be a tool of the conservative machine, while wearing this mask, this black mask. This. Oh no, he's a black man, and no, none of that matters to him, seemingly. And I think ultimately the definition of a coon, no matter how we use it, whether sparingly or freely, is to be a pawn to the very system that oppresses you and or your people. And some coons get great advantage out of it and live above the fray, but ultimately their actions tend to be in detriment to the very community from which they come. So for him to be a Supreme Court justice who is seen by these Confederates, man, fucking insurrectionists on every level, whether they were climbing the walls or making calls. These insurrectionists who were trying to overthrow the 2020 election, they saw Clarence Thomas as their guy. That's our dude. That's our way in. Let's talk to Clarence. Clarence will do it. Get old Uncle Tommy on the phone. Oh, Clarence Tommy Tomington. So QB says it goes back to slavery times, Willie Lynch. I haven't seen a photo yet, not saying they don't exist, where he looks happy next to his wife, who is very sort of orangutan-ish in the shoulders, and not much neck to her, but yeah, she's always smiling and he's always like, But just to reiterate, I am announcing him as my selection for Supreme Coon of the United States, simply for being in a position to play that role, to be that key that these traitors to America were going to sought to use. They saw him as that mechanism. So she does look like a Karen. I cannot argue against that. So that's my vote. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Please chime in. I'm going to go a little bit more, maybe another 10, 15 minutes. And then I'll send you about your way off to play, everyone. But, I don't know. If you think there's somebody out there cooning harder than Clarence Thomas right now, please shout that out right to me right now. And, I know. I know there are other candidates. I don't want to take away from their natural coon talents, but Again, when you look at the position of power and and the intended use of him by said mechanisms, he definitely goes, supreme coonmander. This is just the commander of the coons. All right, so I don't see anybody say anything, which means I'm right. Yay, I win again. This is fantastic. This is also Savage AF, y'all. Fuck your feelings, facts matter. It's a Dro solo edition. I'm your boy Black Pedro. My homie comedian Shane, he's not here today. So, it's just me holding it down. One thing I did want to talk about before I get out of here and also pick your brains over a bit of a sensitive subject. And, still condolences to the families, victims, and even the survivors, or especially the survivors of the Parkland school shooting. And I think today the shooter was formally sentenced by the judge to life in prison, which carries a bit of a controversy to it, because the families, I believe in unity, were asking for the death penalty. But life in prison was given to the Parkland shooter ultimately. And I still haven't looked into the Offset shooting. I saw a video that there's a lot of noise and commotion, but you couldn't really tell what was going on. So I need to find out more about that. But yeah, that is sad. But also, and not in any comparative sense, but America has this great problem with gun violence in general, but in this mass shooting situations, and to the point where kids now, I grew up with fire drills, and we had a tornado drill one time in Detroit, man, that I can remember, but we never had school shooter drills, and niggas had guns, but I mean the idea of a school shooter, somebody who's there to shoot up a bunch of children, whether they be their classmates, former classmates, or just for no relation at all. Treehead says a death penalty costs taxpayers buku bucks. With years and years of appeals, life is a better sentence. So, ultimately, I'm trying to get to that discussion where it because, for the parents, they want this person dead, and it's as empathetic as I believe I am, as much of an empath as I can be. It's hard to talk to somebody about how they should feel when their child was shot at school, by some psycho. Um, you know, but beyond the taxpayers and the years of appeals, I agree with you, Treehead, that life, I think, is I won't say a better sentence. I'll say, for me, I think a harsher punishment, or at least I would. That is my hope. Is that I would think it would be harder to spend the rest of your life in jail than it would be to get some sort of, eventually maybe quick death, which seems like an escape. I would want somebody to have to live with that, to live in shitty conditions for the rest of their life. If I couldn't lay hands on that motherfucker myself, you know what I mean? Like, what my instinct is, death penalty, I would love to be the executor. But realizing that that's not a sane way to establish law and justice, going through the system, I personally think I would rather see them spend the rest of their life in jail, than to have their life cut any shorter than it need be. But What do you got? What do people feel like out there? I know Treehead shared and said life is the way. Oh, and oh, by the way, it was Takeoff who was shot, not Offset. Okay, my man, when they both got off in them, and one of them got offed, and that's just awful. So, uh, Treehead says the kid already had to have had a suicidal mindset. Let him rot slowly. Yeah, I mean, um, and this is again, I can't even begin to empathize with the parents and victims and families of the victims. Um, so I'm in no way saying how they should feel about it. Um, I'm just trying to put myself in that situation, and having the system handling it. Uh, I'm not sure that I would want death for the person who took my child in that situation. Again, I would probably have the sensation of wanting to. I might be that dude in court that jumps over all the shit and tries to choke the shit out of him. Uh, but given that that's not a viable option in life, I think I would rather see them rot in jail. Which also I think costs dollars and resources, right, Treehead? But I do see what you mean about the appeals process. I know it does take years and years and years. Another thing with the death penalty, and not that this applies to this case at all, it absolutely does not. But there have been stayings of executions and overturnings of rulings and convictions, and sometimes the system is wrong and they have the wrong person and they almost took their life based on some bullshit. Quavo was arguing with someone. Offset wasn't there. All right, Nicole, thank you for that update. The thing is, like, I didn't really follow Migos all that hard. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I'm not saying I don't care that anybody got shot. I'm just saying, like, I'm not following that shit that closely. Life without the possibility of parole is key to it, Kevin Keith. Yeah, because I think there are some well, obviously there are scenarios where there's a possibility of parole after maybe a certain amount of time. This should not apply in this situation. I don't believe it does. Treehead. If it was my kid, the only way I'd be satisfied is if I took his life personally. I mean, and again, that is not something we would endorse for anybody to be out here trying to do. We're talking about feelings, right? The impulses that we have that we don't act on because most of us are fucking sane. But you would feel like if you're going if the state is gonna kill him, just let me do it. Give me the bat, right? That's how you would feel, right, Treehead? There you go. Well, yeah, Roger Stacker, that's what we're talking about. Like most, he said some of the family wanted his ass dead. Like, no, the majority of the families, I think all of them who have sort of, united their voices in this are, we're asking for the death penalty. And so that's what I'm just kind of contemplating here with you guys is like, what is quote unquote better, right? Yes, Treehead, just feelings. Put the hammer down. Okay, you stop that. Okay, I don't care how mad they make you, Treehead. It's just feelings. Okay, don't do everything you feel. Right. That's called being an adult. But yeah, Roger Stacker, there's that is the sort of controversy with this conviction or sentencing of the Parkland shooter to life without parole instead of death. It goes against what the families wanted, but I'm just sort of contemplating like which is a harsher punishment for the murderer. Like is it better to take their life early or to have them hopefully suffer in jail. I think some people thrive in jail, but you would hope that he's not one of those motherfuckers who starts reading and doing poetry, just constantly looking over his shoulder every day, living an anxious life for the rest of his life. Roger Stacker says death is too easy. And I assume none of us have actually experienced death personally since we're here. But yeah, it does seem to be an easy way out compared to life in prison. Cause man, I've been locked up in a jail cell before, and it's a fucked up feeling. Like you can't get out of that room. You know, there's no way out of that fucking room unless somebody with the key comes opens it. You're just not getting. You can yell. That's why motherfuckers end up yelling shit and writing with shit on the walls because that shit would have drove me nuts if I had to spend any amount of time there. Or at least you'd like to think you'd stay strong, but man. So sitting here not have experienced anything that the parents and families of the victims of the Parkland shooting have experienced at all. I am speculating that I would rather see that shooter, suffering mentally in a cell than, just dead and not experiencing anything anymore. So yeah, let me see. That's just me, guys. I think it's if I couldn't do it like Tria said, then let him rot in jail. And I mean like that 24 or the 23, maybe an hour a week or something. But let him really sit in a box. You want to go crazy at the school? Shit, we'll go crazy in this box, motherfucker. Queen Bee knows. We were a part of the same heist team. They tried to say she dimed us out, but I didn't think it was her. It was the other dude, Kaiser Sose. She said, "Yep, she's been detained for 8 hours, and trust it's no joke, man. I mean, it's not it. I didn't spend enough time for the time to be the major factor as much as it was the concept of the lack of freedom anymore to like do anything besides what these other people tell me. It's a fucked up thing if that, once that gets into your head, you're like, ugh, this ain't it. See, AJ's taking the role of Shang today. I knew somehow rhinoceros rape or something was gonna come up, but so keep him alive and have him bent over in prison for life. I'm not wishing anything upon the guy in prison other than a stressful life, not a comfortable one. AJ's scenario, I imagine, would be one of those uncomfortable situations. But yeah, I think that's the concept, is really make these people suffer rather than just execute them, which I see exercise them from society, but I don't know. Let society fuck with them back a little bit at least. Yeah, that clank from the lock, Queen Bee, still fuck you up, wake you up at night. I know. Yeah, another factor. Tria said no one likes a child molester or child killer behind those walls. I hope he suffers daily. Absolutely. They gonna tear that ass up, huh, Roger? Yeah. Well, again, condolences absolutely to their families again from the Parkland shooting, the families of the victims, especially those parents who lost children that day. We all know that is not the way life is supposed to go, especially with children that young. You're not supposed to bury them. So all those condolences and you know, all of this was actually out of respect for your wishes to highlight that, you know, the judge did not sentence them to the desires of the families, right? They wanted to see this shooter executed, and we're just contemplating and hoping on your behalf that, or at least I am, that his suffering in jail would be a worse experience for him than an early death. I truly hope this man suffers in jail beyond comprehension, or and beyond the thought of an early death by some chemical or even electricity or whatever they do now. Make you listen to Kanye talk all day or some shit. That'll kill you. But yeah, that's it. I think we have a consensus here, at least majority uh, vote that rotting in prison for the rest of your life is worse than the death penalty. And we hope sincerely for the families of Parkland. I do, at least, again, that rings true. That he suffers way more for the rest of a long life in prison than he would have dying young at the hands of the state. Um, and wait, Queen Bee says eye for an eye, which would mean the death penalty in this situation. So, what you doing? She want to lock him up for the rest of his life. Then on the last day, execute that motherfucker. You are evil, woman. Damn. Or just kill him a little bit, keep bringing him back to life. Like, gotcha. Fucking with you. Maybe they should just have fake executions just to fuck with people's heads. Right? Just be like, yeah, today's the day. And you get in the chair and you're like, man, fuck everybody. And like, nigga, we playing. Going back in your cell. Like, what? We'll see you next week. All right, man. You see the shit gets dark when I'm by myself, right? There's no brightness of shame to balance it out. It's the wine talking, guys. Don't worry. But that's it for you guys today. Okay, so now this has turned into some 1990s anti-communist movie. Tree is like waterboarding him every other day. Okay, listen, Abu Ghraib, fucking warden. Let's not get too specific. You know, for flag's sake, let's not get too specific about the types of punishments that we would, or this type of suffering that we would like to see the Parkland shooter go through. Yeah, we can just keep it general. Just, you know, just good old everyday jail struggle, you know. You know, just a flipping of a lunch tray, stealing of his biscuits or something. You know what I mean? Just start there and then work its way up. It'll be like the Chinese water torture. Just, you know, just the microaggressions will eventually. Y'all are like, we should put a shank on a stove for 2 hours. Ha! Yeah, let that get hot. Glow, put the glow in them real slow. Leave it there for 2 days. Just got to calm down. All right. We do not endorse violence here on Savage AF. Okay, we just enjoy it. Okay. Thank you, Nicole Sadler. You know, I try my best when I'm alone to not make it seem like I'm just talking to myself in my apartment. It really just looks like I'm listening to music and just saying stuff to nobody. Listen, guys, that's not the way jail works. We can't just order. Roger Stacker's like, I'll take an ass whooping a day, and I'll put in on that. All right, that's okay. Jail don't work like that. Okay, you got to just let the other inmates get creative about how they want to do it. You know, like, let's not push into the culture. Okay. Oh, look, we got a troll. We got a troll back. Let's go ahead and block that. Oh, Lord, I have to block them all. Block that. Okay, there we go. But yeah, ultimately, Queen Bee, justice is what everybody's looking for in these cases. And there, the reality is there isn't. You just want the kids to never have been shot in the first place. Is that too much to ask? It was school. They weren't. That's not supposed to happen. Yeah. So, but that is what it is. Despite the parents' wishes, the Parkland shooter will be spending the rest of his life in jail as opposed to getting the death penalty. Wait, I ended up clicking on this shit. What am I doing? Oh God, take this down. What the fuck? How is this? Why is this up? I don't understand why. This is a whole other. I'm just gonna replace it with that. There you go. All right, man. So I'm gonna get up out of here. This is a Drill Solo edition again. Black Pedro. You know what it is. Shang should be back tomorrow, and so will I. And we'll be here for you 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on YouTube and Facebook. Listen, I have but a bit of advice for you guys. Just a little bit of words to live by. That's all. Stay black if you are. That's right. Don't be black if you're not. Right? Don't be doing that shit. And most importantly, man, just keep your finger out of your nose.